Hello you guys, welcome. My name is Wendy Ivy Martinez and welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about some books that are coming out in August that are either thrillers that will thrill you and horror books that will scare you. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to be putting them out in order as the date of the release. So we're gonna start all the way from the beginning of August all the way to the end. And yeah, so let's just go ahead and get into it. I'll also be letting you know if I'm gonna be picking these up personally. Pretty much all these are ones that I'm going to be picking up. So let's get started. Starting with number one, this is a book that I have been waiting for, and it is called Mr. Magic by Kiersten White. This is a horror slash thriller book and it comes out August 1st, and I'm so excited for this. Like, that's probably going to be my first read in August. Yeah, I really want to read it. It looks so incredibly good. Horror and a thriller. You get the both of both worlds, the best of both worlds with this book. And it says right here, who is Mr. Magic? Who is he? Do we know him? I don't know. Former child stars reunite to uncover the tragedy that ended their show and discover the secret of the enigmatic host. In this dark, supernatural, emphasis on supernatural thriller. This takes place 30 years after production shuts down after a tragedy happens during the show Mr. Magic. After this whole incident, 30 years later, the 5 remaining cast members that survived, they do their best to try and move on with their lives. These 5 remaining cast members, they try their best to move on from Mr. Magic, the show. And it's been 30 years and the cast members can't seem to move on. Why? Because there's so many cult-like fans still out there and they still have so many questions. They're still wondering what exactly happened on that day. But nobody knows who played Mr. Magic, nobody knows anything about the production team, and pretty much every single tape of the show Mr. Magic out there has ceased to exist. So the circle of friends, which is what the 5 remaining cast members were called in the show, they get lured into this remote location where they're being told that they're refilming or doing some sort of remake of Mr. Magic. And so as they go to this deserted location, they really want to seek the protection of Mr. Magic. They feel like that's where they felt the most at home. But then things start to unravel and secrets start to get out, and the circle of friends can't help but think that maybe they're not really filming a show, but really being lured into a trap. I can't. This is literally putting together Poppy's Playtime, Amanda the Adventurer, and like Five Nights at Freddy's all together in one, and I am all for it. The next book is called Gone Tonight by Sarah Pekkanen, and I hope I am saying her name right. This is a mystery slash thriller, and this one also comes out on August 1st. So this is basically about a mother and daughter. We have the mother, which is Ruth, and then the daughter, which is Catherine. So Catherine Sterling and her mother are really close. It's always been them two. They're 2 peas in a pod. They're super close. The mom is very hardworking, and Catherine is pretty much your perfect daughter, as in she's a straight A student. She never gave her mom any headaches. She never questioned her mom, nothing. So now Catherine is getting older and she's ready to start a new career, and she's ready to spread her wings and break out from her mom and be her own person. But Ruth, her mother, wants nothing to do with that. She trusts that her daughter Catherine is not going to ask any questions. Slowly, Catherine starts to question what is going on with her mom's past, because her mom never told her about her past. And she starts to look into it, and she is not liking what she's seeing. And things begin to unravel, and the two dance a dance of deception. So that is Gone Tonight. Mother-daughter duos I really do enjoy. I love that dynamic, especially being a mom myself. So the next book that's coming out is called Just Another Missing Person by Gillian McAllister. This one is also coming out August 1st. This is another mystery thriller. This is the same author that wrote Wrong Place, Wrong Time. Okay, so this is about 22 Olivia, and she goes missing, basically. And she has gone missing for like a day and a half, and she's on every newscast, and there is a investigator that is in the lead of the case, and her name is Julia. She's the lead detective that is in charge of finding Olivia. Her family is looking for her. They are worried sick. They want Olivia home safely. But the problem is the person that has Olivia has a secret over Julia, and he basically threatens that if Julia finds out exactly what happens to Olivia, they're going to reveal Julia's big secret. So Julia's in this tight position of, should I keep looking for Olivia and find the answer but risk my big secret getting out, or should I just keep it very hush-hush and let my secret die with Olivia, I guess. This one doesn't really call to me as of right now, but if I really like Wrong Place, Wrong Time enough, I might just have to pick this up. And then the next book that we're going to be looking at is a horror book, and it is called Looking Glass Sound. If I'm looking down, it is because I have my computer pulled up here. And this is by Catriona Ward. You would think after reading so much that I know how to pronounce things. Apparently, I don't. But this is from the author of The Last House on Needless Street, which is a book that everyone and their moms and pops raves about. That is darn tootin' fantastic. I have not read it. I looked at it. It intimidates me, so I haven't read it. But this is the same author, and the cover looks pretty cool. Pretty cool. I like the cover. It looks like a skull, but it's an ocean. This book is basically about a writer who is ready to write his very last novel, and he is in his vacation home, and the very last novel that he wants to write before he retires is going to be about a killer that is in his vacation home, and also he's going to start to incorporate some non-fictional things, some memories that he has with his friends, his companions, and some of the things they found there from this killer that somehow has to tie in with this killer. But slowly, as the author begins to write, things start happening. He begins having memories that he does not recall having. He begins just waking up, and there's chapters that are completely typed that he has no recollection of ever writing. These things start to haunt him like a drowning woman, and notes from his friend who is now long gone, and he thinks that he is being haunted. This book looks so good to me. First of all, it gives me very much like The Shining vibes. Does it not give you like The Shining vibes? It looks so good. Like it's like if it feels like The Shining had a baby with Verity, and then this thing happened. The next book on here is called The Handyman Method, A Story of Terror by Nick Cutter. This one also comes out August 8th. And this one is being described for fans of the Amityville Horror and fans of Black Mirror, and also fans of Nick Cutter's The Troop and The Deep. So this is basically about a family who buys a house in a town that is slowly being renovated and made anew. And in this community that's being made anew, there is a DIY sort of person that's starting to send this family cryptic messages about how to deal with issues around the house. And the cover looks stunning. It just looks really good. It just looks really good. It says the trials of home improvement, destructive insecurities, and haunted house horror all collide in this thrilling story. So this next book is called Whalefall, and it is by Daniel Kraus, and this is being described as a horror/thriller. And this one also looks not only good, but very relevant to the recent news about a specific submarine, if you know what I mean. So this is basically about a scuba diver. He's a scuba driver, a scuba diver who goes into the Pacific Ocean trying to look for the remains of his deceased father, who had just committed, he unalived himself just a little bit before, and the only thing that his son can do to get rid of the guilt is to go and try to find his father's body. So he goes scuba diving, and at first it is fine and dandy, it is okay, and then a giant huge squid comes after him, and he has no choice but to swim away from the squid, only to find himself face to face with a very, very hungry sperm whale who swallows him whole. Now he is inside the stomach of a sperm whale, and he realizes that he only has 1 hour to get out, or else he will run out of oxygen, much like a very recent submarine and all that. That's what it reminds me of, basically. The cover, amazing. The concept, very relevant. I wonder if like the author, no, that would have to be way too fast in order. It just happens to be a really weird coincidence that it's like about the deep sea and there's only oxygen is running low, you know? So the next book that we have here is called The Last One by Will Dean. This is a thriller, mystery, horror film. Did I just say film? What is wrong with me? This is a thriller, mystery / horror book that is going to be released on August 8th, 2023. And this one, again, this one looks so good. So this is about a girl named Cass, and she is on a cruise with her boyfriend, and she is aboard this ship called the RMS Atlantica, and she is having fun, she's dancing, she's drinking, she's having a merry old time with her boyfriend, and then she goes to sleep that night, and when she wakes up, her boyfriend is missing. Like, he's gone. He's nowhere to be found. She looks around the room, doesn't find him anywhere. Then she steps out of her cabin, only to find that every other single door in the cabin is wide open. She looks around, there's no one. She looks throughout the whole ship, and she is completely alone aboard this ship. There's no one around her. She has no idea what just happened. All she knows is that before she went to bed, there was so many people on board. When she woke up, everyone's gone but her. So what is going on this ship? I don't know. This just like has my mind already reeling, like what is going on? It is 448 pages, so this author must have a darn cahootin' lot to say about this story here, because it's pretty long. It's pretty long, but it looks fantastic. The next book on here is Calling to All My Horror Fans. It is 101 horror books to read before you're murdered. And this one is going to be released on August 8th. And it says, curious readers and fans of monsters and the macabre, I can never say that word. Get ready to bulk up your TBR piles. Sadie Mother Horror Hartman has curated the best selection of modern horror books, including plenty of deep cuts. Indulge your heart's darkest desires to be terrified, unsettled, disguised, disgusted, and heartbroken with stories that span everything from paranormal hauntings and creepy death cults to small town terrors and apocalyptic disasters. So this is basically just a compilation of 101 books that you need to read before you're murdered, before you're murdered. So this looks amazing, just because obviously it's not a book that you might want to like read through all the way, but just like as a reference, I feel like it's very interesting because I've been wanting to find more horror books for myself to read, because I feel like I'm a beginner to fictional horror. And the next book comes out August 22nd, and it is called I'm Not Done With You Yet, and this is by Jessie Q. Sutanto. So this thriller is about an author named Jane, and Jane is very unhappy. She has no happiness in her life, basically. The only thing that made her happy was a long-lost friend from college named Thalia. And Jane had a bit of a hiccup, if you will, when it came to her friend Thalia, because in college there was a blood-soaked gown, and she did something that was supposed to bind Thalia to her, but it didn't quite work out, and Jane lost track of her. Now, a few years later, Thalia's name is on the top of the list in the New York Sellers best-selling times. Best-selling times? Am I saying this wrong? New York Times bestsellers. I had to look at the book in front of me. She's on top of the New York Times best-selling list, and she invites Jane to this party about her book. And Jane is so excited to go because not only does she want to go see her friend again, she wants to make sure that this time she binds her right to her, and that Thalia is not going anywhere this time. So that is that one. The last book that I'm going to mention is called Vampires of el Norte by Isabel Canas. And this is a horror, gothic, fantasy, historical fiction book. This takes place in the Texas-Mexico border in the 1840s, and I have said it, I want to read more books that take place in Mexico or have some sort of Mexican cultural elements to it, just because I want to read more about my culture, and I'm getting that with this one. So this one is about a girl named Nena, and Nena's town basically gets taken over by Anglo settlers from the north, and slowly but surely there's something else that starts lurking in the woods that is biting and killing men and basically draining the blood from their body. When the United States attacks Mexico in 1846, Nena is becoming a curandera, which is a healer, and then we follow another man named Nestor. He believed that Nena was dead, and Nena is his like childhood sweetheart. So what do you know, the two are they got the band back together, and they realize that each other is actually still alive, and Nena's upset because she believed that Nestor had abandoned her. She doesn't know that he thought that she was dead, and the two are basically put back together, and even though Nena's very mad at Nestor, they have no choice but to get along when a monster, a blood-sucking monster, aka a vampire, begins showing up. I'm excited for this one. I'm excited for a lot of these, actually. Anyways, you guys, that is all. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't yet, please hit that subscribe button and turn on that notification bell to be notified when I post. Also, if you haven't yet, please subscribe to go ahead and subscribe to my podcast, the Geek Goddess Podcast, and also follow me on my TikTok /Booktok at Geek Goddess. Thank you guys so much. Oh, and also last but certainly not least, I will put the link to where you can get these books down below. And if you wanted to gift these books or any books to me, you can check out my Amazon wish list down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Once again, I am Wendy Ivy Martinez. I am a geek, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!